Well, I have Peacock out here coming to inspect the garden to see if we had any success with the garden covers. And she decided she's not interested in the garden, but she would like to eat some grass and run away from me. But she's fine. She doesn't need to go in. Coco was out here too, but she decided she had had enough and wanted to go inside after about 10 minutes or so, or maybe less, 5. And she's having a good old time out here. And let's check out the garden. What do you say? We have had quite a bit of a scare of at least 2 overnights of definite freezing. And I have taken off the covers, as you can see. And I'm keeping you in suspense to see the beds, but doing that on purpose because I can, and I'm a jackass, and I'm having fun messing with you right now. So do you want to see? No? You do want to see? Yeah? Okay, well, I'll show you. Let's see. Well, first I'll show you the ones that weren't covered. And this guy looks okay. We even have flowers that don't look too horrible. And I will be careful not to show you yet, but here's what the eggplant looks like that was not covered. And he got a little toasted, but he may survive. And Mr. Brussels sprouts looks pretty much okay. Some toastiness on the ends of the leaves a little bit, edges, but I think he's okay. Green beans showing a little bit of not so happiness. There's a tomato plant in here too. Looks like it had some damage. I think that's from frost, but I think it looks like we might have survivors here. I don't want to count my chickens. What else was not covered? This thing was not covered, and it definitely took a beating. And the red lettuce looks like it may survive, actually. I took most of it, but I left a couple of leaves. And you can see that got frozen. But that guy looks okay. And this was, is that a beet? I think that's a beet. And he might be okay. Here's one that we covered. The peppers. And I don't know what's behind it. Looks like some beets and something else. I had picked a lot of beet greens off these guys. And I think it looks pretty good. What do you think? Pretty good, pretty good. I don't know what these guys are. Pretty good. I think these will all survive. I'm hoping a little bit of not happiness over here on this plant. And maybe over here, tiny bit. And these guys appear mostly healthy. And a little dry. Looks like a little dry. A lot of condensation under the covers when I took them off. And I could definitely feel some warm air as I sort of unsealed the covers. Not that they were totally sealed, but I think it worked. I think it worked to keep the moisture in. I mean the heat in. Because it's in the high 40s right now, or low 50s. I think high 40s right now. 48 or so. And the air inside was definitely warmer than ambient temperature, probably by about 5 or 10 degrees. Very humid, but warmer. You can feel it. You can feel it like I could feel it on my face when I was taking the covers off. Anyway, I'm gonna just reveal not yet the tomatoes to you, but let's take a look at the lettuce. So I don't think it looks totally dead. I think it looks mostly alive. And I was really enjoying this lettuce, so I hope that it's still alive. And you can tell that leaf got it bad, and some others. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the result here. Now the tomatoes, they were pretty much, leaves against the plastic on the top and the sides, and a lot more airspace that was exposed to the outsides, the sides of the plastic. So, without further ado, let's see what they look like. So you can see that the edges here got burned and froze. You can really see it on this basil here at the edge. That may be a toasted plant, but I think that it just may have some crispy leaves, but did okay. So, I mean, and that just shows you, if that thing didn't completely die, that it was probably doing a really good job of keeping heat in. And we did not even double up the plastic. It was just single layer of plastic, I believe. Here's all the clips. That was doubled up. That's a thinner piece of plastic that was doubled up. That was on the peppers back there with the little tent that Alan rigged up with the tomato cage in the middle to have the moisture drip off, which worked really, really well. Really, really well. Good job, Alan. Alan was a rock star. So back to this tomato plant. Again, that is probably the worst part, which is on the north side. And the wind was coming in from the northwest. Not heavy winds, up to 9-mile-an-hour winds is what I read. But I think we did okay. We have a nice, fine-looking tomato right there. Another one right there. And I think that fell off because it froze. One looks good enough to eat right there. That looks like it froze. I had kind of tucked this vine in. Looked like it froze. And I don't think those tomatoes are going to be good if those are left on there. So I might come grab those and see if they'll turn ripe. But yeah, I mean, look, even this one that was kind of on the border, on the edge, on the north side, this branch looks like it survived. I mean, I don't see, I mean, that's not mushy or anything right there, so definitely some toasted leaves here. You know, that's toast right there, but that's okay. It wasn't a main artery. That looks maybe a little bit browner than I think it would be otherwise. I'm not sure, but so I don't know. We'll have to see how this plant does. But yeah, sort of not too bad on this side. And we're supposed to get some sun today. It's cloudy right now, but we'll see. We'll see how this plant likes being exposed to more air and some sunlight. Hopefully today. And there's a lot of tangling going on here. Have to do quite a bit of trimming just to get it contained in the planter so that I could cover it. And you can see over on the compost bins is where we kind of dumped all the trimmings. So there's quite a bit of trimmings. Hi, P. She's liking being out here. She's getting adventurous though. I am going to take her inside right now, and I'll be back to show you the other planter. So Peacat is back inside, and it took a little convincing. However, she went in voluntarily, and she had fun making me chase her a little bit. But she behaved. So I think we were done looking at that plant. Now we can take a look at this plant, and we can see here that he is not happy. So that was not like that before, but it wasn't in perfect shape right there. I believe, if I'm remembering right, I had to trim this back quite a bit right there, and trying to save these tomatoes, I tried to tuck this in and definitely put some stress on that vine right there. But it wasn't broken before like that. It was just sort of bent, and it was already starting to bend because, you know, it had been draped over this way anyway. So I don't know, that's a big part of the plant right there, with some other freezing going on nearby. So, you know, if we were going to lose a plant, I would say that would be definitely a candidate right here, because he's looking a little toasty and different in color. So I think that might be toast. Maybe not though. Who knows? Who knows? See the base of it. I think it looks a little bit more brown on the screen, but it looks still green, even through my brown tinted glasses. And this tomatoes didn't get frozen, and this is a different plant, but definitely see some evidence of freezing here and here. A little mushy, brittle, but not total loss, I don't think. And walking around, checking out the rest of the plant. Hopefully that's the worst of it. You can see where I trimmed there. And there's some parts that are a little bit frozen or showing signs of that anyway, but maybe not too bad because it's not totally mushy. You can see I actually picked a couple of ripe ones off of this area right here. So, and there's still a few more that are ripening in there. Some hints of ripeness, but I think that top got it because the plastic was sitting down up against the top of the plant with some snow accumulation, which may have helped, like you were saying, to insulate a bit, but it definitely wasn't totally covered with snow, just really on the top ridge. But I think some snow was sitting here on top of the ledge, and you see signs of that. Moving around the plant, you can see it's generally in pretty good shape with a lot of green, fresh looking, undamaged leaves, and some really nice looking basil there that has beautiful bright green leaves and just is actually looking extremely good. So I think we have a new method for covering our plants with some plastic that has proven to work in sustained high 20-degree nights. Now we covered everything while it was relatively warm outside in the mid 70s after coming down from a very hot day in the 90s. So hot soil. We covered everything while it was relatively warm outside in the mid 70s after coming down from a very hot day in the 90s. So hot soil and cover it up while it's still warm, and use some clamps to clamp the sides and get a pretty decent seal going on, and you have yourself a recipe for success. So that concludes this video, and we're going to call this a success for September 2020 freeze. September 10th is today's date, and I'm out.